Playing with The Sims 3 lately and knowing that The Sims 4 is coming out next year, I would like to talk about other things I'd like to see in The Sims 4 base game. Now, we already know that weather is not going to show itself in the base game, that it's going to be an expansion pack just like it was for previous Sims games. Even saying this, I wish that at least rain would make an appearance, because it gets somewhat monotonous to see the sun every day in the same way in the base game. But I can understand that if it was maybe the fact that certain parts of the game become monotonous is the reason why expansion packs are needed and why they can be made later on and money can be made off of them. So I understand that. I just wish that, things could be a little... I would just like if certain weather elements would appear in the Sims 4 base game. Talking about weather and the weather expansion pack that undoubtedly will make an appearance, I would also like to talk about the fact that weather came up with the festivals, the 4 seasons, and related activities to the festivals, and some objects and clothing and hair styles that would go with the whole theme of weather. In conjunction with those kinds of things, if they appear in the same way in The Sims 4, I would also like to see darker aspects of weather, natural disasters such as tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, sandstorms, snowstorms, landslides, all these kinds of things. And some of them don't even have to come with seasons. Certain things will come in the base game, such as landslides, some other element that could make the world feel a little less stable and make you a little more attached to your Sims, because you know that they could die more easily. In conjunction with that, I would like to talk about the environment of the Sims. We're talking about objects, build and buy mode objects. And a lot of what is in the Sims environments cannot be interacted with. One thing I'd like to say is I hate decor items. To me, they are a very useless part of the Sims. And they've always been around, items that you click on and you view, or items that you place in your home just, for the player to see and say that's beautiful, but the Sims don't actually acknowledge or react to or can use. And I would like it that in the future, with The Sims 4, all items are interactable, if that's a word. Everything's interactive. That if an idea for an item comes up, but the Sims cannot do anything with it, and placing it will only appeal to the player for a short time, that is considered, and it's not placed in. All these things are unnecessary. I used to be really into decor items because I wanted, my teenage girl's room to look like a teenage girl's room and have all the pretty items in it that would make it, a complete room with all the clutter that a teenage girl could come up with over time. But while I'm playing, the girl doesn't really recognize those things. You could click on a bed and make it hers, that came in an update. And a Sim could own a specific item in the game, but the other things in the room the Sim doesn't really react to. If you just bought it for them and you place it in their room, they will come and check out the new item. But other than that, they don't need any other association with the items, because the items cannot be interacted with. They're there. They're like the walls and the door of the room. They're not important to the Sim. And if items are more interactive, that would be wonderful. It would mean something to the Sim. And while I'm talking about interactive items and being able to set a bed as belonging to a particular Sim, I would also like that to apply to other items that Sims have in their homes. You can own a bed, and then only that Sim would be able to sleep in that bed, or that Sim and their, romantic partner. But I would also like that desks be set as belonging to the Sim, or computers, because I put a computer in my Sim, let's say the same teenage girl's bedroom, and I want her to use that computer and have that computer be hers. But if there's another family computer in the study or in the living room, whichever computer is closest wherever she is at the time that she wants to use a computer, she will use whichever computer is closest and or highest quality, and not necessarily the computer that I say is hers, because she doesn't know it's hers. And so I would like, just like with the beds, that other items, appropriate items that could belong to a Sim, belong to a Sim. So you could label this desk, this child Sim would always use it to use their homework because this is their desk. So they will not have to go to the dining room to be able to do their homework if you do not want them to. So you can label certain things as theirs. or say this bathroom belongs to the master bedroom, and that other Sims who sleep in other bedrooms should not be able to go into the room, and I don't have to just lock the door, but I could say that this master bedroom belongs to this couple, the parents of this household. So when they need to use a bathroom, they will go to that bathroom, and they will not just go to the bathroom that is closest to them at the time that they need to use one, but go to their bathroom. And then everyone else in the house will go to other bathrooms because the master bedroom has its own bathroom. That kind of thing. That kind of associating rooms and objects with particular Sims. I would love that. And sometimes there's a glitch if you lock a door in The Sims 3 and you move out of that house, that when you come to visit that house later and another family has moved in, and you're taking your current household to visit that house, no Sim in the house could enter that room because you previously locked it, but because you no longer live in that house, you cannot unlock it. The room, so the Sims who currently live there cannot open the door, and I can no longer open the door because I do not own that house anymore. And sometimes those awkward things happen. So I understand that sometimes when you switch households, the wishes and stuff get reset. Certain things should be reset also. That's because a lot of things are falling through loopholes and glitching the game sometimes when households are switched or things are deleted. Oh, to add to the topic of environment of The Sims, I'd also like to bring up natural parts of the environment. I know with the seasons expansion pack you can now pick flowers, certain types of flowers, and you could always garden, but I would like that part of The Sims to be expanded, that they could recognize different things in the environment and maybe go rock climbing or tree climbing. That natural elements are a recognized part of the environment. Right now, if they're on a lot that has a river or a pond close by, they will use it, or they are at the beach and there's the ocean, they will go into it. And I like that they can recognize that this is a part of the environment. But certain things, and also the sand, I believe in some expansion packs they could play with the sand, or they can do something with the sand and they see that it's there. I also wish that could be expanded to everything else in the environment, or as much of the environment as it's possible to be expanded to. Have more of the environment interactive, have more of the environment have more meaning or be more meaningful to the Sims themselves, and not just to the players' whimsical idea of what they would want the Sims to want, but the Sims are not capable of wanting or recognizing. The next point I would like to talk about is transportation, and how there is no real contact in The Sims 3. At least in The Sims 2, you would actually be able to walk to your car, open the door, back out into the street, and drive off somewhere. You'd actually be able to do that. And right now in The Sims 3, you would just walk, your Sim would walk to the sidewalk, jangle their keys in the air, and the car would just materialize in front of them. And if there was another car driving up the street at the same time, it would just pass through your Sim's car, and it would not, hit your car or blow its horn or anything, because it doesn't need to, because traffic is not a concept in The Sims 3. And I would love if that kind of contact, that kind of interactive, aspect of vehicles was applied to The Sims 3. With The Sims 3 Island Paradise expansion pack, there was, there's a new type of vehicle added, which was boats. And we already had cars, the land vehicles. So now you have land vehicles and you have sea vehicles, basically. I would also like to see air vehicles, planes and helicopters. We have the hot air balloons, but, something that your Sim can actually own and you could see them flying with. So it would be like not just a teleportation kind of mode of transport like the hot air balloon was for Aurora Skies world, but also that, like, how you could see the cars and the boats moving, that there was a level of the sky that you could see up to, and when your Sims enter the vehicles station, that area of the sky is visible and you could see your Sims flying through there and having that kind of traffic concept there too. And if not, and if it makes for conflicting gameplay or a heavy game, that it could be applied to just a maximum of a certain number of households that can be in the air at a time or whatever, internal programming of the game. Something that would expand The Sims to new heights. A new level of vehicular transport. And while we're talking about that, I'd also like to see a subway system, underground homes and places and secret illegal areas of the world, the ground level, and then below ground where you have the subway system and hobos and that kind of thing. It would be lovely if The Sims didn't focus as much on posh, on the rich and the fabulous and the owning lots of things kind of, you know, stuff packs and things like that. I would like to see more hobo, laid back, dirty kind of, environments and objects that the Sims again would recognize as being a certain way. Have that kind of theme also come and contradict itself with how easy it is in The Sims to make so much money without even cheating. Naturally with jobs and with opportunities, you make a lot of money in The Sims really quickly. And it would be nice if you had that alternative lifestyle, extreme, not poverty, because honestly, The Sims represents a sort of utopia to me. A Sim cannot even leave their household when there's no one to watch their baby. You can't leave your baby at the park. The baby will get transported home. And I like that aspect that, certain things that can happen in real life don't. But again, there are some parts of real life that will make the game very exciting that I would like to see. So bring in more of that hobo lifestyle, not to the level that we have that too much heartbreak in the game, because honestly I play The Sims to be happy. I would like it to reflect a little more on real life and the levels of real life. The Sims themselves in their life stages. I love celebrating birthdays in The Sims 3, and I like that The Sims physically change so much while they go from one life stage to another. And I wish there were more life stages. For example, have a preteen life stage in between child and teenager. Life stage between young adults and adult, or adults and elder. Have more ways that Sims change and evolve, and have different, every time a Sim ages up, you have a whole new area of hairstyles and clothing and activities for that age group. And it would be wonderful if that could be expanded into having even more life stages, because I understand how awkward it would be if a Sim smoothly aged up and its height smoothly went up and everything, to be able to be reflected in a game like this. But to have specific life stages and have more life stages, it will reflect life a little more, but also be a little more manageable, a little more specific. I like that you could say your Sim is a child now and be able to do child things rather than have it smoothly going up in age without having anything defined. And I like that, but I wish there were more life stages, and I would like to see that in The Sims 4. I would also like to see custom content be easier to install, and not just custom content such as hairstyle, clothing, shoes, build and buy mode objects, but also things that relate to what the Sims themselves can do. Because build and buy mode objects, you can use them, but things that the Sims create themselves, such as paintings. I know in The Sims 2 there was a way that you could import your own pictures, something you painted in real life, or a picture of something that you really like, that you can put in a game and have your Sim create. And that kind of thing is really fulfilling to an extent. I mean, it's a game, but it'd be wonderful if that could be done in The Sims 4 as well, but in a very simple way. That certain aspects of the game, everything that a Sim interacts with or can create, that we can create our own forms of as well, or at least as many as can be feasibly possible. That we could create versions of that we could put into the game, and our Sim can do. Have the player a bigger part of the game than previously. The buildings, besides the fact that there's a maximum number of Sims in a household that you can have, I would like that number expanded maybe to 12 or 16, but even if it can't be, that there's a way for you to have more Sims in a household without actually having to control all of them, but also have other Sims who live in a household, who eat your food, who spend your money, basically. I would love if that was a part of The Sims 4. A lot of the jobs in The Sims 3, besides like the part-time ones that you could still make a lot of money off of after you reach a third level, a lot of the jobs are pretty good jobs, journalism career, medical career, military career. And it would be nice if there were other types of jobs that you could play as a maid, have that kind of mini game like what they had in The Sims 3 Ambitions, because you were a fireman or you were a ghost hunter, and now you could be a maid. Not a job that makes a super amount of money, but more, down to earth kind of, activities that could be a part of The Sims 4, and that is what I would really like to see. I would like to see apartment buildings also be more like apartment buildings, because in The Sims 3 Late Night, there was apartment buildings, but only with one loft in the building, and that to me kind of defeated the purpose of having an apartment building if only you could live in it. It would be nice if you had different families also living in different levels of the apartment, who could move in and move out just like they do in normal houses. But now that you live in a building, you could see them in the hallway, and they could be like a joint laundromat in the building, and you would see the people that you live with in that building using the communal facilities of the building. That would be awesome. Have more sim interactions, not just in the speaking social part, but also in where you see sims and how they are related to the sims that you are playing with. This is just random things that I would like to see in The Sims 4. What do you like to see in The Sims 4? Leave, notes in the comments about that.